Okay, let's start in the 5 minute more. We'll start together. Yeah.
You will not cover AWS Glue in this one?
Oh, Glue is not there. Only Lambda. Okay, because
Oh,
Glue itself is has many more things, right? Because it's a Spark, right? Okay.
mhm.
So this is just Lambda for the serverless ETL and integration with the Lambda with the different services like SQS, SNS, okay, EC2, how we can integrate. Okay, so we have to see other different services, how can we integrate. Lambda is just a function, okay? It's a serverless, right? We can write just function for computation. But what is the source and what is the target that can be integrated with the Lambda. Okay. Hmm. Okay,
Means we have
once
to.
everyone will able to
Mhm.
learn Lambda and the integration with Lambda, then anyone can start the project with the end-to-end, like data is coming, some kinesis source, and the Lambda to read, and then write the Lambda to the Firehose stream, and then from there Spark is reading EMR. So then visualization we have open search, right? So as many as services we can add up in pipeline. But the basic centralized part is Lambda, which is providing an integration with other services. Then slowly, we can add up more number of services in a one project. Okay. So that is the basically the way to develop the pipeline. Hmm. What is equivalent to the Lambda in Azure? Anyone knows?
Sorry,
What is the equivalent service in Azure? Lambda equivalent? Anybody knows? Azure function. Azure function is a serverless service, okay, and the cloud function in the GCP, okay, that is the same Lambda.
in the event hubs too.
Hmm? What?
Event hubs in Azure.
Event Hub is equivalent to the Kinesis in AWS, okay, that is a streaming service, okay. But serverless computing, right, where you can write a different types of programming part, right, like Python, Java, Perl, okay, .NET. So AWS Lambda is supporting different runtime environment, okay.
Okay.
Okay, I think I believe right. People are not much interested. That's the reason people are not joining. But okay, let's see. We will do our workshop. Okay. So I have already ready-made examples prepared because I'm not writing everything from the scratch. Okay. So I want to demonstrate. Mostly it will be a practical hands-on thing, nothing theory. I will give the material for theory, right? I have some ebooks and some links I have. So you guys can see the theory part, like what is the basic fundamentals theory is there in the Lambda, right? So, but most important thing is the practical hands-on because Lambda is a very dominant service in the AWS and it is very required. Okay, much required. Okay. Okay, let's start. So anyone has any questions so far? Because last time I covered AWS EC2. Okay, AWS EC2 and S3 I covered because I wanted to give a basic introduction, right? Because before starting Lambda, because everyone should know like how to create a EC2 instance, how to set up EC2, how to connect EC2, because those things I'm not covering in this. because you can follow my existing classroom link video. There you can see. Okay, because those are very fundamental things, and again we don't need to do that part. Okay, because that is very basic fundamental stuff, right? Creating a EC2, and you guys should have your EC2 account, AWS account should be ready, and you can claim for the credit. Okay, you can show some POCs, you can show some POCs, and you can fill up this form and you can ask for the credit. Okay, but you have to show a good POC. At least the POC should be a very high level POC, and the POC should have demonstrate end-to-end pipeline. So you have to put a good POC, then you will get a credit. Okay, you can fill up the things here, your first name, last name, your account ID. You should have account before. Okay, because the people who have account, they can apply this. Okay, or they have not taken credit before. Okay, because if you have already taken one time credit, you can't get the second time credit. Okay, because AWS is verifying everything, and then they will be providing the $300 credit for 6 months, and this credit you can use for 6 months. Okay, here business email ID, you can give your Gmail ID. Okay, job role, you can give your job role like IT professional, you can give. Okay, and like, or you can give, yeah, tell me what you're saying. Hmm.
So Arvind, I was also like having this AWS account, okay, and I was doing a lot of practicals before that because for once you make a account, you can use for 1 year freely, okay. But I never use this $300 credit. So can I use it now?
Yeah, you can, but you will not get immediately. They will take 15 days time to 15 working days they take to check
Hmm.
your like POC. Okay,
Okay.
because it is not free to everyone. It is depend, right? Like
Hmm.
how good POC you are giving. This project description, this is the important part here. If your
Okay.
POC is good, right? Your use case is good, right? You are telling the you are going to use very costly services in AWS like SageMaker, QuickSight, Generative
Hmm.
AI,
Hmm.
DevOps services like EKS, right? Fargate, ECS, and you are telling about EMR, like
Hmm.
EMR, Glue. So, like this services, you are showing some POCs. You can find some examples of the POCs, right? You can check in the Google GitHub, right? You can check some pages, right? So, just
Hmm.
you have to give a paragraph. You don't need to write an entire 2, 3 pages. Just you
Hmm.
have to write a one paragraph, and that paragraph should be a 15 lines paragraph which is demonstrating like what you want to achieve with the AWS account, why you are
Okay.
going to claim this $300, right? What is the purpose, right? So
Hmm.
you have to show, right, I want to do POC, and this POC I want to do for my real project in my office. Okay, so that kind of scenarios you have to give. Okay, whether you can show DevOps, cloud, data engineering, data science, anything you can show, but it should be related to AWS,
So I
not
have
any
a
other cloud.
yeah. So I have another question. For example, you are going to like teach us like some projects. I mean, so
Hmm.
in the coming day. So should don't you think should we apply right now so that we have this thing in the coming days so that we would be
The
able to.
project description is not easy because everyone cannot put it the same project, right? Because they will be checking all the details. Okay. So everybody's project will be the same, right? So they will not give anybody's to this credit. Okay.
Okay.
Just we will think about it because we don't need to spend more time on this. Just I want to just give a heads up because you just prepare some paragraph and get it reviewed from me. Okay. And
Okay.
then you can post it. Okay. First you
Okay.
prepare your own concept, your own thinking. Just think
Hmm.
what you can put it a best way. Okay. But it
Okay.
should not be very, very technical, right? Otherwise, they will come to know you have copied from somewhere. Okay. It
Okay.
should be more human readable language, right? Like some ordinary person can understand your intention, right? Why you are looking for this credit. Okay. And this
Okay.
credit limit is 6 months. You can utilize this credit, but if you're not able to use in 6 months, this credit will be lapsed. Okay, you won't get be carry forward. Okay, so that's the most important thing. So project intention here, project intent, you have to say proof of concept, and implementation time frame you say 4 to 6 months. Budget range you say here. See, they will be giving not more than 300, so you can keep it 100 to 499. Oh, this is a per month. So you keep it $50 month. You can keep it. Okay, so it will come for 6 month 300. Okay, or you can take it this one. Okay, 50 to 99. Okay, because this is for 300 only, so you will not get more than 300. Okay, workload type you can say here big data analytics, business intelligence. Fill any company name, company size, phone number, okay, whatever your genuine information, you fill this one, and country, region, post, and this one is the personal interest, postal code, okay. And then submit it, and then wait for at least 2 weeks, you wait, and then you will see if it is credited, you will see your credit. How to check the credit, I'll show you, because I got many times I got credit, okay. So recently I got the credit only just for survey. Okay, I did a one survey for them, and they gave me $100. But before that, I got this $300 credit. Okay, so if you see my this credit history, you see. So this is I got like in 2024 I got $300 credit, and after that they give me recently $100 credit. Just I did one survey, and that survey I filled up, and they gave me $100 credit for 4 months. Okay, so this is the way like you can check your credit. Okay. Once you apply credit, just keep checking in your here. Your credit will be appear here, and you will get an email also. Okay. And other billing sections, like you can see your usage of the services, right? Sometimes you want to know how much usage is going on. So everything you will be tracking here. Like you can check each and every service with regions, right? You can check. Okay. So here the services like with the regions, you can identify, right? What are the billing is going on. Okay. And you can see the previous month billing life cycle. Okay. So when we are going to start Lambda, okay, first we understand what is the Lambda. I'm just giving us some little theory part. Actually, I found this link, and this link is from the data camp. Okay, and this is a basic introduction thing. Okay, so first we need to understand Lambda is a computing service. It is a part of, if you see computing section, if you go here, services, this is the all services list. So when we say how many services in AWS, it's a endless, right? Like 250, 300 services, and keep increasing day by day. Okay, but we are not going to concentrate each and every service, because some of the services are not for our use. So computing section, this is the main, like computing is there, analytics is there, application integration is there. So these are the part. Okay, so when we talk about analytics is completely data engineering related services. Someone who is working in a data engineering, he has to deal with these services. So EMR is there, Glue is there, Kinesis is there, Data Brew is there, right? Okay, and some more services are there. Lake formation we have to use. Okay, for data governance purpose, this is a lake formation is there. MSK is a Kafka. So if you want to use Kafka in AWS, you will using managed service Kafka. Okay, and it is a paid service, because most of the service which you are getting here as a paid, so you have to pay for that. Okay, as you pay go model is there, but you have to pay as per the uses. Okay, and there is a open search, it's Elasticsearch. If you know Elasticsearch, and this is an online search database, Amazon search, Amazon open search. Okay, and the QuickSight and QuickSight SageMaker, these are the machine learning and model data machine learning model related services. And Redshift is a data warehouse. So this entire this analytics section is completely data engineering related services. Okay, next is the application integration. Application integration is like I want to do orchestration, so I'm using a Airflow. So Airflow here is MWAA. Event based, like you want to call some trigger, right? Rule based trigger, right? You want to trigger something like some exception handling you want to do in Glue job. So you can trigger like event bridge. Okay. So event bridge is the bridge service. Okay. Notification service is there, SNS, like you want to send email, right? And queue service, this is the messaging service, like just like a Kafka is a topic is there, like same here the topic, and you are broadcasting your messages, and your message will be received by the different recipient. And these recipients could be a email recipient, or it could be a some REST service recipient. Any kind of recipients can be there. Okay, so there are many options are there in SNS to configure for sending the like email or SMS, like you can do. A step function is it's also orchestration, but sometimes you have a multiple services and you want to orchestrate your multiple services one after one. So a step function is an inbuilt AWS own service, but Airflow is like not proprietary. Okay, Airflow is as a managed service. It is external Airflow tool, and that is provided as a service. Okay, so this is all application integration, because some Airflow also there. Okay, I have not used that one. Okay, so compute services are there. Here we are checking the Lambda. Okay, so when we talk about compute is something you are doing. Okay, so compute is basically is computation, right? Something you want to run or something you want to execute. Okay, so EC2 is our virtual machine. Like we are creating a virtual machine EC2, like we are creating Ubuntu or Red Hat, Linux. Okay, the different operating system we can create a EC2 virtual machine. But Lambda is also compute service, but this is the serverless. So what is the meaning of serverless? First, we need to understand what is the serverless. Serverless is like we are not providing our environment. Like we are using the AWS provided runtime environment. We are using that and we are developing our application. So there are the two things are there. Either you are developing the environment, like your runtime environment, and then you are developing the application. So you are spending the time at two places, right? So here Lambda says you don't need to spend the time to the set up the runtime environment. You have to spend the time on the application development and integration of the different services you can start, and that will be reduce your time. That will be giving you the more productivity. Okay, and Lambda is a free service, but it has the uses, right? If you have 100,000 requests coming to your Lambda, after that it will be taking a very minimal charge. Okay, 100,000 requests per month. So it is really huge. But Lambda has some limitation. Lambda has the first limitation is because the time execution limit. If your Lambda execution processing time is more than 15 minutes, the one Lambda cannot work. You have to use multiple Lambda. One Lambda can call back handler to the another Lambda. Okay, so that kind of processing we can do using Lambda. Okay, because Lambda they kept it, the execution time limit is the 15 minute 900 second. Okay, another one is a 50 MB size you can upload only. You can have code not more than 50 MB. Okay, but 50 MB size is enough, right? If your code is there, just only Python code. But if you are adding a libraries, suppose you say, I want to use Pandas library or some third party Python libraries. In that scenarios, you have to use Lambda layers. Okay, I'll show that Lambda layers is the additional feature, how to provide a shared libraries to our Lambda function. Okay. Okay, so now when we are starting the Lambda, so first we check what are the features of the Lambda. Okay, so Lambda is providing event-driven architecture. What is the event-driven architecture? Event-driven architecture, like where the events will happen based on the invocation. Okay, so some event will happen based on the invocation, and that some trigger will be there. So like some request response, like HTTP response, some API gateway is also sending the event, right? You have seen API gateway is a REST service implementation in AWS. So when you are sending a request from the API gateway and Lambda is hit, and Lambda is giving a response back to the API gateway, okay, as a response. Okay, so here is the event driven architecture is there. And second thing is Lambda is not specific to one runtime environment. There is a Node.js, Java, Go language, Ruby, .NET, okay, Python. So whatever language you are proficient, whatever language you are expert, you can develop the Lambda in that environment. Okay, because they have all different kind of environment and you can choose. Automatic scalability is there. So here you cannot add a number of machines. You cannot add manually. Okay, so you have automatic scaling is there. AWS Lambda will scale automatically on demand, right? Whenever the number of requests hit will be increasing, it will increase dynamically. So there is an option concurrency is there, right? Like multiple hits, how many concurrency level you want to keep it in your Lambda, you can decide. Okay, and you can configure that. Okay, pay as you go pricing is there, and integrated security, right? It's a IAM role based security is there. So it's more secure, and because the IAM is a service, right, which is providing identity access management, like role, user groups, permission policies, right? So we can set up. Okay, what are the common use cases are there? Okay, so Lambda can be used for the data streams also. So we know, right, there are two types of processing are there when we are writing a ETL. If you know about in Spark, right, batch processing and the real-time processing. Okay, So Lambda has both the options are there. What are the options you want to use? If you want to use as a batch type integrations, like you are getting a data from RDS, or you are getting data from S3, or you are getting data from the Redshift, or you are getting data from the Snowflake, anywhere you can get the data as a batch. Okay. But Lambda is providing another type of processing is streaming processing as well. Okay. Suppose you want to get the data as a streaming from the DynamoDB, Kinesis. So you have to find out the data sources which you can get it data as a streaming. Okay. So stream processing is there, and the building REST API integration. So I told like API gateway integration with Lambda we can do, and automatic workflows, right? You can write a trigger, right? So what is a trigger, right? So suppose I say in my S3 some file is arrived. How can I come to know file is arrived? Because I should have some event, okay, and that event will configure in S3. I'll show that event, how automatically your S3 bucket will recognize the file is arrived and it will hit the tag. It will trigger the Lambda. So that kind of automatic events we have to trigger, okay, and that we can do in Lambda, okay. So Lambda will allow the custom event. This is called custom event. We can write a custom event for S3 or DynamoDB, RDS, for anything we can do, like around 10 to 12 services we can integrate, right? Okay. So we can provide custom events like to trigger Lambda. Okay. Event handling things. So we can write a Boto 3. So here the APIs we are using in the Lambda is a Boto 3. So Boto 3 is the Python API. But when you are using other one like Java or other like a runtime environment, their own APIs are there. But Python, we are using a Boto 3, okay? And serverless architecture is there. So if any service is hitting Lambda, right? So like API gateway is sending the request to the Lambda, and Lambda is again calling to the some data store. It could be a RDS, it could be a DynamoDB, or it could be a Redshift, and we are doing the ETL data pipelines, okay? And we have some event bridge is the like we have rules are there. Then we can handling the event management things we can do, okay? And CloudWatch is for the logging, right? We can do the logging, like console logging, we can check, okay? Okay, so these are the things I told about. The concurrency things is there, execution environment is there, okay? So this is the basic fundamental things of the Lambda, okay? So how to start with Lambda? So first we go to Lambda service, okay? And make sure like whatever environment you're using, in the same environment you are using, like Lambda you are using, S3 bucket you are using, everything should be in a same region. So Lambda can be integrated, okay? So let's first start one example how Lambda can trigger EC2. Suppose one EC2 instance I want to start and stop, okay? Let's see one example here. Right now I don't have any EC2 instance, okay? I create one EC2 instance and I will start and stop that instance by Lambda. Okay, so what is the code for that? So when we are going to trigger, right? So first of all, I should know the region, okay? In which region I want to start and stop my instance. So here the Lambda function, that this is the syntax of the Lambda function, and this part will automatically come. So when you create a Lambda function, let's create first Lambda function. Okay, so I'm going to create a Lambda function, and I'm giving a Lambda function name. Okay, here are the three options are there. Okay, either you are creating a Lambda from the scratch, or you are using some blueprint. Okay, when you are using a blueprint, it is giving us some ready-made function blueprint are there. Like suppose you want to read a S3 file, or you want to interact with the DynamoDB table, okay, or you want to write a STTP. So automatically the code will come. You don't need to write a code from the scratch. But this is from the scratch means you have to write your own code. And container images are like some Docker Kubernetes images, right? You can pull, right, some registry. So container registries, you can pull the images, or Docker Hub registries, you can pull the images. Okay. So we are going from the basic one. I'm just going to create a start. I'm going to start with the Lambda function. So my EC2 Lambda, okay, trigger. Okay. I'm using a runtime environment. I'm using Python 3.10. Python 3.10 is good compatible, right? Because your libraries will be supporting. Okay. So don't go lesser than this or more than this. Okay, so 3.10 is good. And here is one thing you will see, the default execution role. So because Lambda need to be executed by the user, right? So he should have the IAM role should be there. The person should have the IAM role is added. Suppose I'm an administrator user. Okay, but I'm an administrator user, I can trigger, but I need a role for that. Okay, so that role you can create, or you can say you can create a new IAM role, you can give the role name. It will create a some prefix of that role, or you can create a new role your own, or you can use the existing role. Okay, so existing role is here. I have already some roles are there, but I show you how to check this role. Suppose this role is there, my Lambda role. When I click this Lambda role, okay, so this role is the Lambda role. How to create a role? I have already told in the IAM. Okay, I'm telling again how to create a role. So if this role has these many policies are there, permissions are there. Okay, so but Lambda you want to execute, you need this basic role. This role should be added in your role. Okay, as a permission. Okay, so when you are creating a new role, you say here create role. Type of the role is Lambda. So you will tell here the type of role is a Lambda, and then you are adding a permission. So you are adding a basic role execution permission, and next you are saying the role name. So I say AWS EC2, or I say general, right? AWS Lambda role. Okay, this role will not be there. Okay, so this is the basic execution role I added, but will it be sufficient if I want to trigger EC2? It will not be sufficient. I need to add one more role, one more permission. I have to add one more permission I have to add for EC2 full access. So EC2 full access, if I'm not giving, even though my Lambda cannot trigger EC2. Okay, so I'm giving AWS EC2 full access. This also I'm adding. Okay, and the same role I will use again and again. What I will do, whatever service I want to use, I will keep adding that service policy. Okay, when I'm going to use S3, I will add S3 full access. When I'm going to use DynamoDB full access. When I'm going to use SQS full access. When I'm going to use SNS full access. So all the permissions I will be adding in the same role, and this role I will use in my while creating a Lambda. Okay, so I will create this role. So this role is created. So this is the role. Now this role I will check while I'm creating a Lambda function. I will refresh here, and I will check it here. This role is coming. So now I have selected the role. So whatever role I created, I selected the role, and now I'm going to create function. So when I do create function, so automatically my Lambda function handler code came. Now simply what I need to do here, I have to put the actual code I have to replace here. So this Lambda handler function is a function which is starting your execution, right? It's an execution point. It is a starting of your execution of your Lambda function. Okay, so when you come here, like this is the Lambda handler code. So what part I need to take it? I have to take it this part. So I have a region, which region, what is the instances? Here I can start and stop more than one instances because this is a list. This is a Python list. And any number of instances you can start and stop, and you can come to know about their status, their instance ID, everything you can come to know. Okay, so I'm just going to start. I'm just going to create one EC2 instance. Okay, so I just make sure like what region you are doing. Okay, this is my North Virginia region, and I'm going to create a region in the same region. I'm going to create a EC2. I'm launching EC2 instance. So I'm going to launch EC2 instance. So I say my Lambda EC2 instance, and I'm taking a Ubuntu instance. Okay, instance time T2 Mac Pro, that is fine because I don't need to work more on that. Just any key pair. Okay, and security group, like SSH is a by default comes like 22 port. Okay, so it will be, and if you want to assign some SSD, right, like storage, right, this is a call EBS, elastic block storage. Okay, so you can take it more or less depend on the your requirement, right? Okay, so now I'm going to launch this EC2. Okay, so when I'm launching this EC2 instance, So in this launching EC2 instance here, so you will be able to see their EC2 instance is running. So right now your EC2 instance is running. Okay. Now you can do programmatically also, because you don't need to give manually one by one instance, right? You can identify how many instances running in the particular region. That also you can check, okay, using the APIs. Okay. But right now I'm just going to test, right? This is my EC2 instance. I want to give this EC2 instance, and this is my region is US East 1. Okay, so I go in my code. I'm just changing my EC2 instance. Okay, and here I'm going to give US East 1. So US East 1 is my region. Okay, so this is my region. Okay, so now I'm just going to copy this code. Okay, and this code this is right now in the running, so I have to stop because already instance is running. So I will simply stop the instance. So how to stop the instance? This is stopping instance. Okay, so whatever instance is running, it will stop, and when you want to start, so start underscore instances is there. Okay, so how many instances you are passing, those many number of instances will be start and stop. Now the next thing what we need to do in the Lambda is we have to deploy the code, because without deploying your changes, your Lambda will not give the results. Okay, the whatever expected result. So you will deploy it. Okay, sometimes the parameter things you don't want to put a hard coded, you can pass it as a JSON message. You can pass it here. So whatever in the event dot that key value, that keys it will take, and value it will take it. But if I'm not using this, okay, so I can simply if it is a automatic trigger is there. Okay, if it is a trigger is there, then we don't need to give, because I'm directly calling my EC2. So here what I'm doing here, my instance is there, I'm calling a boto3.client. Okay, and getting a client object of the EC2, and then start and stop I'm doing. Okay, so still I'm not using a trigger thing. Okay, so this is the different, like here is my EC2 will be start and stop through my program. Okay, so here is no need of trigger. Trigger I will show when S3 is going to trigger Lambda, DynamoDB can trigger Lambda, SQS is triggering Lambda. So that is the point we will use the like a trigger. Okay, so here now I go to my EC2 instance, and now I will be test, right? So I have to pass the some dummy value. Okay, so this dummy value, okay, so some event name I have to give. Okay, even these values are not used, but I have to like keep it. Okay, so even those values are not used. Okay, so I click it, test. Now my Lambda is triggered. So one thing is, if your Lambda is taking, by default the time is 3 seconds is there. So if 3 seconds, if it is not able to execute, okay, so you have to increase the limit. The default limit is 3 seconds, but you can increase up to 900 seconds. I told execution limit is default is like maximum limit is a 900. Now let's see if our instance is stopped or not. So it means 3 seconds is not sufficient to stop the instance, because little bit time it takes to the process, right? So it is 3 seconds is not sufficient. So I need to go to, I have to increase the time. So I will go to in the configuration section, and here the general configuration, you will see the timeout is 3 seconds. Whenever you create a Lambda, automatically the time is set 3 seconds. Okay, but 3 seconds is not sufficient here. So what I need to do, I have to increase this time. I will make it 15 seconds. Okay. Okay. So now I'm making it 15 seconds. So it will get enough time to trigger, like this Lambda can call the EC2, and it will able to do process of the start and stop the instance. Okay. So now, okay, now we will test, we go. Okay. So I will click on the test. So now it is, see, it is more than 3 seconds, right? Now it's success. How many seconds it took? How many seconds it took? Around 4 seconds it took. Okay. So 4 seconds, just only 1 second more it took. Okay. So your Lambda is executed successfully. Otherwise, if you are thinking why it is not executing, why it is not executing, because the 3 seconds is not sufficient. Okay. Now let's see our EC2 instance. I'll refresh here. my EC2 instance is getting stopped. Okay. So now if I want to test, right, to start my EC2, I will go to the code, and here monitor tab also you can go. Here you can see the CloudWatch log. So how to check the CloudWatch log? You can click on the CloudWatch. So for any Lambda function, the CloudWatch log is there, and there is a group is created. And this group is basically the group for the Lambda function name, the group is created. And that specific group, you will get the log. So you will see here the naming convention is AWS Lambda my EC2 Lambda trigger. And you will see here the logs is created. Okay, so if we check this log, okay, so here my all the print statements are coming. Okay, so availability John is coming, instance ID is coming, the details are coming, right? So all these things are coming. Okay, so if I want to start and stop things, I can do. I can again like I can do the start instance. So start, deploy, and then click on the test. Okay. But suppose you say you are manually triggering. Suppose I say one use case example, I'll say you like every day morning you start work, you want to start your instance. And when you finish your work at the end of the day, you want to stop your instance. How will you do it? Can you tell me what logic you need? Because I want to see your thought process, right? Think about it. Like
Well,
when you think like at end of the day, you want your all EC2 instance automatically stop. You should not do manually. This is manually we are doing, right? Okay. Can you think of what logic you will think? Like just think about it. Like end of the day, what you think, right? Like your all EC2 instance should be stopped.
we can have logic like if we are not using, then we can given.
Who is doing this, guy? Please, please, please.
We're using Lambda, just schedule it.
Yeah. So what you are saying? Uh, what you are saying? Logic?
May I?
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So
What?
my logic is if we are not, we can give an if statement. If we are not using the instances, we can trigger like client dot stop instances, this thing inside if statement. I think it will work this way.
No, not using. So what is the condition that I'm asking? That we all know, right? Not using.
Resources.
Resources not using. But what is the condition? Like 5 o'clock, I say, so you will see the time, na, right?
Time. Yeah. Indeed.
What is the
Yeah.
current time is there, and what is the time is na? You will keep checking, matching with the time, na, right?
Yeah.
When the
Yeah.
time is reaching to the deadline, okay. Suppose I say time is equal to now this time, current time. But this is a fix, na. 5 o'clock, you have to stop all the instances, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you will do, you will be keep checking in your function. Okay, you have 3 instances or 5 instances. Okay, you will be keep checking. Whenever the time is arrived, you put entire code in that condition. Got
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Automatically, it will be trigger based on the time. You don't need to think like you. And this part, how to trigger Lambda? We right now Lambda is going to trigger manually. So what you can do, you can do some like SQS or like SNS, some event handling things you can do, or some event bridge rule. Like okay, like Lambda will trigger at 5 o'clock. Okay, and that time it will check the time and that it will do. Okay,
I have.
something is a time related things, right? The ultimately the time is important part, right? Because time will decide whether your instance should be stop or start, right? That is a criteria. Okay.
So I was actually having a question, Arvindji. For example, if I'm using AWS and because of some reason I cannot I'm not using it, but it is still running, okay? And the time lapses between like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. So can I do the same kind of thing that you said, like if I haven't used the AWS for 30 minutes, AWS EC2 instance for 30 minutes, my resources should be stopped and it won't charge me anything like that.
See, anywhere first you check, go to EC2. Can you check it? Something like your time lapsing is there, like okay, like something is there in the API method, right? So you
Uh-huh.
can do whatever is possible, right? Suppose my EC2 instance is running.
Uh-huh.
So definitely there will be CloudTrail is there. One service is there, CloudTrail, that can
CloudTrail.
track your EC2 instances timing. EC2
Okay.
instance you can't track, okay? because EC2 instance, there is nothing like here, like time tracking, like how many hours this EC2 instance is running, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours. It's not saying like that. Okay. Right. It is just telling you when the EC2 instance is created. That's it. Like this launch time. Okay. Right. But you need to identify how many hours is running, right? So that kind of things you can use CloudTrail with Event Bridge. So Event Bridge will define a rule for the CloudTrail. It will check how many hours this resource is running, right? 1 hour, 2 hour. Then you can put a rule in the Event Bridge, and that you can trigger from the Lambda. Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah.
If your condition is like a particular thing, hourly basis, or like whatever you want to do. Okay. So that you can do. Or even EC2 is providing any APIs, any service, right? Any like tracking. Okay. If EC2 service is giving. Okay. So we can check that one also. If EC2, how to track EC2 instance running for how many hours.
There is the uptime command, na?
Yeah, that I'm checking, like something like which is the, like I don't need to go with the other approach I told now, right? Okay. See, minus query, launch time, output test, calculate uptime. Yeah. See, this is there. Okay. So I said like this is very clearly here, right? Current time, launch time, current time, and hours difference. The instance is running. Where is uptime is here? Launch time. But this is telling from the launch time. Now we don't want from the launch time. We want to get every day, like how many hours is running. So calculate uptime. You can use this launch time is combination with the current time to calculate how long the instance has been running. This is from the starting of the launch time to calculate like it is how many hours. But every day EC2 instance is running. Every day EC2 instance is running every day, right? Not with the launch time, because launch time is okay. So that is true. So some APIs you have to see. Cost Explorer is there. Something like it is possible. It is possible, but we need to identify like this is the one. Like Cost Explorer C command is there. So this kind of command you can call in your Boto 3 or some shell script call you can do in the this is the bash shell script. So shell script you can do, you can write a program. Okay. And you can write this output in a file, and that file you can read in the Python code. So you will come to know how many, like every one hour, you can find how many hours this instance is running. Then you can take an action. So you can do that. Okay. So next thing is, this is the EC2 one. Now how to call the event from the S3. Okay. So if you want to do from the S3, so S3 is our file system. So when we go to the S3, so S3 we can create a first of all the custom event. Okay. So I'm going for S3, and here I will create in S3 bucket the custom event. Okay. So I'm creating a new bucket I'm creating. S3 lambda 03/02/2025. Okay, so I'm creating a one bucket. So in this bucket, I'm creating a one folder. Okay, so this bucket, I'm creating a folder. Now in this bucket, I go property. So bucket property, there is an option here, event notification. Okay. So this event notification is the custom event, like we can create a notification event. Okay. So how to create an event notification? We will click here, event notification. So there are two ways to create a event notification. Either you can create in S3 or you can create from the Lambda. So it is vice versa. Like if you handle from the S3, it will be creating automatically in the Lambda. You are creating in the Lambda, it will create in S3. Okay. So I'm just changing the same code. I will be using this. We have already tested. Okay. So this code I will replace with the S3 one. Okay. So my function name is my EC2 Lambda trigger. Okay. So what I will do here in the S3, here I will give some event name, my event S3 Lambda, any name you can give. Okay. Prefix is the folder, right? My folder is the folder where my file will be coming. Okay. What type of file is there? Suppose I say I'm reading a TXT file. So text file is arriving in S3 bucket. My event will be triggered. And here I'm giving a all object create event. So automatically it can take it, get, post, put, any type is fine. Okay. Now the next option, there are the three destinations are there. Either Lambda function you can trigger SNS topic, or you can trigger SQS key from S3. So we go with Lambda function, and Lambda function name, it will be coming here, the Lambda function which I created. So this is my Lambda function, my Lambda Python 123. Okay. So this Lambda function, now I'm saving it. Okay. So I will show you here, there is no trigger right now. Okay. Well, refresh it. So there is no trigger. Right now there is no trigger. Okay. Now when I'm going to create this S3 event, automatically the trigger will come. Now you will see here, the trigger will come. Okay. Now automatically one trigger will arrive here. No, I think I given a wrong Lambda. Okay. So this is the one I have to edit it again. So my event notification, actually I given a different Lambda here. So here is my EC2 Lambda. So I will edit it. Click this one, edit. So I will change it to, okay, so Lambda function, my EC2 Lambda trigger, save event. Okay, so now I will refresh here. So my trigger came. Okay, so one other way trigger you can create here also. Add trigger, you select S3 here, and you can give the bucket name. The same thing, whatever you are doing there, same you can do here. You can give the bucket. Okay, so you have to choose your bucket. Okay, so you choose the bucket, you give the folder, same options are there, prefix is there, type of file is there, I acknowledge. When you do this, automatically it will create a S3 custom event. Okay, so I'm showing it, either you create here or there, it's the same. Okay, so now your Lambda function is having the trigger. Okay, so now trigger is created. Okay, now you have to put your Lambda function code. Okay, so first thing is you have created a S3 event and your trigger came automatically. Now you will be writing a code here. Okay, so what is the code is needed? The code is this code. So there are the two ways we write the code. One is using pandas library. If you are using pandas, we need a layer. Okay, so we'll see this later. I'm showing first simple. This code, but in this code, one change I have to do. So this is my code. This is reading for CSV file. So here, what I need to change, instead of this reading with the pandas, this is using panda library. So I will change it by reading a content simply by the Boto3 response. Like this, I can read the content. So I will write a very simple this response equal to. So here response here is get object S3 client. So this is a response. Okay. So this is the response is coming. Okay. So this two lines I will add here. Okay. So now this response is nothing but I remove the line. This. Okay. So response is this, and S3 client. This is the S3 client. So here is the this S3 client dot get object bucket name. Bucket name is this bucket name. So I have to change here the bucket name is this variable bucket name, and the file name. File name is the key. Okay. So what you are doing here, you are simply reading dynamically the bucket name. So when the event trigger will happen, so it will detect automatically which bucket and which file your event is coming. Okay. So we don't need this pandas. Okay. So this it will identify. Okay. So it will identify this, and simply it will read your file. It will read a file like the bytecode. It will read the content and then display the content. Okay. So we don't need this. Okay. So when you deploy this, okay. And now we have to upload a one text file. Okay. Then only we can test. Okay. So if we are uploading in the same bucket, okay, and bucket here in the folder, I upload one text file. So add file. Okay, let's see this text file is a txt extension, and I'm uploading this file. Now I'm going to check my Lambda is triggered. So monitor, I go, view CloudWatch log. Okay. So in the CloudWatch log, you can see exactly this time the event is triggered, and you can see the file. Now can you tell me, I'm able to read my S3 bucket and file is coming. Okay. But still I'm getting the error. Can you tell me what is this error? What is the problem here? And what is the solution of this problem?
IAM role doesn't have a S3
So
object.
whatever IAM role we are using, last time we created IAM role, right? So that IAM role, we have to add S3 full access. So I'll go to configuration. I go to my here permission. Yeah. So here the IAM role is there. If you click it, it will take you to your IAM role. So right now, last time we did EC2 full access. Okay. So we have to add another attach policy. I have to add S3 full access. If you want to give only read access, so read access is there. If you want to give write only access, write only is there. But full access means everything is given. Okay. When we add this, and now I will be uploading the file again. Okay, so now I'm uploading file again. Same file I'm uploading again. So this file I'm uploading again. Okay. Okay, so now I will check my log. So this log I'm not storing anywhere, just I'm displaying. You want to write any database or any file system, you can do that. So this time you are getting the log. So this is the log message. This is the message in this file content. So you are able to read this content. 2 lines of content is there. Okay. So this is the basically how to trigger file. Okay, your S3 file is going to trigger Lambda. But another way is manual way you can do. Manual way is whenever you have when you have the bucket name and the file name. So you can directly give your bucket and file name. So you can specify your bucket and file name, then it will read that file and bucket. Okay. So when you know that, you can give the bucket and file. So whatever bucket, I mean, right now you are taking using the event. You are taking from the event. Instead of that, you can give hard-coded bucket name and hard-code your file name. Okay, and then you can use the test event, right? Then you can take it. Okay. So this code is for layers. I will tell about how to read the CSV file, and we are going to use the like pandas. Pandas is not a built-in library given to the Python runtime environment. So we have to add layers. Okay. Or sometimes you can create a custom layer also. Like suppose you want to third-party libraries you want to use some Python library, but that library is not the default is provided by layer. Okay, so you have to create your own custom layer and you can add. So I'll show the option. The custom layer option is there. So you can create a layer there. You can create in the here layer option is there. This layer. So layer here you can go and add a layer. Suppose I want to add pandas. So when I want to add pandas, so pandas is by default here. See Python. That's the reason I told Python 3.10 you use. Because if you are using higher version of pandas, then or higher version of Python, so they will be giving their own Python libraries, whatever library is coming. So here all the libraries are 3.10. Okay. But sometimes you are using some external library and creating a custom layer. So in that scenario, you have to find a third party library with the same version. Otherwise, it will not be compatible. Okay. So custom layer you can add. Okay. Now here you select the version. Now I can use my this code. Okay. Now I added the pandas. Okay. Now I can use this code. So what I need to do, I have to copy this code. Okay, let me copy this code so that you guys can use it. Okay, so this is my second lambda. Okay, this one is after EC2. So now the next lambda is this one is we are going to use this one, pandas one. So this is a pandas one. So I will use it. This is a pandas. So we will remove it. Now in this scenario, we will give a CSV file, deploy it. Okay, so this is also custom event only. The event, everything is same. Okay, just I have to upload now instead of, oh, but text file. So I have to change here my trigger because my trigger is for text file because it will not read CSV. So I have to edit it. I have to edit this and I have to change here dot CSV. Okay, so now I'm changing to dot CSV. Otherwise your CSV will not be right. Okay, so now I change it. Now I will upload. I will delete this. So delete, permanently delete. So here, okay, so delete object. Now I'm uploading the CSV file. So I'm uploading CSV file. Okay, so this CSV file I'm taking. File name doesn't matter because it's a dynamically coming. Everything is dynamic. Okay, so because event will be triggered. So now I did that. Now I go to Lambda, monitor, CloudWatch. So 1603, this is time. You can see this is the CSV data. Okay, some column is missing here, the ID. So this is a two column CSV, okay, like ID and the age. Okay, so this is the way you can read using the Lambda layer. Custom layer thing, I'll tell you how to create a custom layer. So when you go to the function here, you can have option here, custom layer. So custom layer you go, and I already created layers. Okay, I use it, but this is Python 3.8. But this is the SQL Alchemy. SQL Alchemy is like a SQL database. Okay, so you can create a layer, you can give a name of the layer and upload a zip file code. So any layer you can use the zip file. Okay, suppose I say numpy. I'll take an example. Okay, so numpy lambda custom layer zip. Okay, lambda numpy download. Okay, so installing numpy. Mhm. Actually, we need a zip. So when you go to the Python, this is the website. So here is you can download the file. So when you download, this will be giving you the version wise, like 3.10, which version of you want, like distribution. Okay. So you can download this zip file. This is the wheel file, but you can download the tar file. So this one you can download, and then we can. But size limit, you remember 50 GB is should not be more than. So you extract it. Yeah, I think tar will not take it. Maybe another zip is there inside this. So I'm extracting this one more time. Maybe if another zip is there. If directly the folder is there, then we can use this one. Okay. I think tar is allowed. So here is the folder. So this one is the main folder. Okay. So this folder we need a zip. Okay. So this need a zip, or we take it. Okay. So this is coming. I have to take it up this. Okay. So I have to take it this. Okay. So I'm taking this zip and I'm adding in my custom layer. So here, numpy. So S3 you can also do, or you can upload zip file from your local machine. So here, numpy zip. This one, I think it matters or not matters. Okay, so runtime environment, Python 3.10, because our version is a Python 3.10. Okay, so next is creating a layer. Okay, so now refresh it. What happened? This layer is not added. Okay. I think wait for the creating layer, because it is uploading the file, right? So that is taking time. Okay, so this time the NumPy library is created. So layer we check. The NumPy library is coming. Okay. So now we will use it library. So how to add a library? We go to the Lambda function. So we go to Lambda function. So here are the Lambda layers. So if I'm adding another layer and then custom layer, I will be adding numpy. So automatically it will come. Okay. So then you will add this layer. So now the second layer is this added. Okay. So now anything using numpy, it will not give you error. Otherwise it will say module not found. Okay. So that is the way like how to create a custom layer and how to add. Okay. So second example we've seen how to trigger S3 to trigger Lambda. Okay. So let's see other further example. Like suppose I want to use SQS, like I want to send the masses from the SQS. I want to call, right? From the SQS, I should get the masses in the Lambda. Okay. So SQS should trigger your Lambda. Okay. So this time you are changing your code. Okay. So this code. Okay. So SQS1, you have to first of all create a SQS queue, because we have to create a SQS queue. So we have to SQS, because here when you are going to create add a trigger, so you need like type of like trigger is SQS type. So you have to use the source SQS, like event is coming from the SQS. So you need a queue. So right now there is no queue. That is the reason it is showing empty. Okay. So you have to use SQS, like you create a new SQS queue. So SQS simple queue service. Okay. So queue service is simply create a queue and standard, okay, my queue. Okay, but reason you check it. Okay, so just simply creating a queue, and here I can send the message in the queue. So how to send the message? I can send the message. So this message still will not be received because this queue is not configured. Okay, so I have to configure this queue. Here I will refresh it. So my queue will come here. Okay. And this queue ARN is taking. What is ARN? ARN is the Amazon resource name. I uniquely identified this resource in AWS because there is a AWS and service name and the region and the account ID and this resource name. Okay. The queue resource name. And then you are going to add this queue. Okay. Function. What is this problem? It is not allowing, right, to configure the queue. We have to add a role, right? Like a permission. So we have to IAM role, we have to add SQS full access. Okay, so AWS Lambda role 123, and here I will add a permission. Here SQS. Okay, so SQS full access. Okay, I will add it. Now I will click it. So I refresh it. So SQS, I will take it. Okay, so now my one more trigger is added. SQS is added, but I have to change the code because my code should be like configurable code, right? Like it is reading S3, so it will not work. I have to change the code which is reading messages from the SQS. So I will be changing my code. I think this is not reading from the SQS because SQS it is getting the record. I think I don't need to use that resource. Okay, so whatever event is coming, messages, it will get it. So I will see when you are not using any trigger thing, so you can use the Boto3 APIs dot like client S3 like or SQS. Okay, like that you can get it. Okay, but if you are using the trigger, so the data will be coming in your event. Okay, so you don't need to access as a client. Okay, in that case. Okay, so now I should send the message in the SQS. Where it is. This is my first message. Now I'm sending the message. Now I will check monitor, CloudWatch. So this is my first message is coming. Okay. So two ways you can access anything. Either one is like a trigger. Trigger is automatic. The message will come in event. And the another way is using the Boto3 client or resource. Okay. So you can access. Okay. Anything you can access either way. Okay. Whatever is like, okay, SQS you can access. So you can use Boto3 APIs. You can access. Okay. So in that case, trigger is not important. It will directly take the connection and get the messages. Okay, but if you are going to trigger like event, then like your you can directly read the message from the your event, right? You can get here. Okay, so this is the way like you can get the messages. Okay, so you can print it, record like what is coming, the entire message you can read. Okay, so you will get a this is the all records are coming, so you can print here inside this the record and you can check what is the body element is there. Okay, so when you print record, so you deploy this, sending it again. Okay, and now check monitor CloudWatch. So this is the entire message is coming. So if you see here, the body is your message. And even you can come to know what is the event source type. Event source type is because suppose I say you have to write only one Lambda function which can read the data from S3 or read data from SQS or read data from API gateway. Then how will you handle the situation? So in that case, this is very important, this event source, because event source will tell you from the where the event is coming, which service the event is coming. So once you come to know this one, then you can write your code accordingly, right? You can handle it, right? Because otherwise, if I want to write a multiple lambdas, right? So that is not a good idea because I want to write only one lambda, but it should be right resource driven, right? When the what is the resource the event is coming, it should handle, right? It should be able to get your messages and work accordingly. Okay, so that is the reason this entire this thing, right? The event is very important. Like you can get the event source and then you can handle and you can know which region also, right? You can come to know region and other details also. Okay, so this way we can get the message from the SQS, okay, SQS trigger. And another one is we have SNS. Okay, so how to configure SNS? SNS is the notification service. So first we go to the notification service and there we create a one notification type. Okay, so first we are going to create a notification. So when we are going to start on the SNS, so we have to create the subscription, the notification like topic we have to create. Okay, and then subscription we have to create. So first we are going to create a topic like you are you are defining your topic, my SNS topic. Okay, and like a standard, or what is the name you are giving is standard, and then you are creating a topic, and this topic you have to add a subscription. So create a subscription, you have to go next, and here you have to use protocol. These many protocols are there. So we are using an email protocol, and I'll give an email ID here where I want to get the notification. So I just create a notification. So I have to confirm it. Okay, so I will go to the subscription. So my pending, this is my, so I have to actually in my email ID, I have to do to access my email ID. Okay, so here, so for confirmation, I got this email, confirm subscription, and now all looks same. Where it is gone? This one. So I will refresh here. So my email is confirmed. Okay. So now this part is done. Now SNS part is done. I have already created, but I have to remember my topic name because this topic I have to use. Okay. Or I should know this ARN because this ARN is either one, like ARN I need to know. So this ARN I will use in my code. So I will write a one Lambda function. So in the Lambda function, this is my target ARN I'm giving. So whatever message you want to send, suppose you say like some event handling you are doing in the Lambda, and you say like you want to publish some message, and this is your message. So this message you want to send as an email message. So you have defined the target ARN, and you are dump, right? This JSON.dump, right? Notification message. So this message you have, like you have as a pass, as a message, this message you are returning as a success code. Okay, so this message will be sent, this message will be sent to the SNS, and SNS topic will broadcast to the protocol. And what protocol you are using there? Email. So email will be sent. Okay, so this message you are sending from the Lambda, and Lambda is targeting this message to your this target ARN. This target ARN, where you are giving this target ARN. Oh, where this one? I think client.publish. Okay, yeah, here the client.publish. So you are this method function itself, you are passing the target ARN. So whatever your target ARN you are passing in this publish function along with the message, this message as a string message. So you are just sending this message, this string message as a JSON message you are sending. Okay, now this code I will copy paste in the Lambda. So here in the code section, so you will deploy. So I have to trigger manually here because this is like, but it could be like some S3 event trigger. So in that case, you don't need to trigger manually. It will automatically trigger. But here is no other event is triggering this Lambda. So I have to trigger manually. Okay. Again, what is the problem? Same role. Okay. So when you are using SNS, right? So you have to add in the role SNS you have to add. So you have to go to here configuration and the permission and the role you have to add SNS. So whatever service you want to use, just add as a permission. You can use SNS full access. So SNS full access you can add here. Okay. Now you will be trigger Lambda again. Code. Okay, now we'll see that the message should come on the email. So I go to my email. So new message I have received now. So this is same message I received, like this message. Oh, this is the deleted one. So there is, this is the message. Here is the SNS topic notification. So if you want to unsubscribe, so this is the way like a link is given. Okay. And this notification came from the SNS service. Okay. So this is the way like we seen how Lambda can be triggered from Lambda can trigger the SNS. So here is the target is a SNS. Okay. Okay. And Lambda is going to trigger SNS, not Lambda is triggered by SNS. So that is also possible. Like SNS can trigger Lambda also. Okay. So everything is a vice versa, right? Anything can trigger anything. Okay. So here is this is the code for the SNS one. Okay. And the other one is we have like how to write a data in the DynamoDB, right? Suppose I want to access DynamoDB from my S3. So here is a hard-coded bucket and hard-coded file name is there. Okay. And this data, I'm just splitting data, the CSV data. Okay. And this CSV data, I'm just reading it as a text file data. And then I'm just splitting data. And I'm just separating my employee ID, employee name, and employee profession. And then I'm going to write in the table.put item. And this table is nothing but your DynamoDB table. So your DynamoDB should have this table and your format like CSV should be like this. Okay. So this is my bucket already have this CSV file. Let's see. S3. I go to the bucket. Okay. Or otherwise you can upload it if it is not there. Okay, I uploaded another bucket. Then this is the data. So what is the data is? This is the data. So I create a one CSV file. Okay, so I'm using all type. I'm just saving. Okay, I saved this file. Now, this is today bucket. So in this bucket, we'll upload it. This is not today bucket. This is today bucket. So upload file. So add file. It's in my desktop. I need to give the bucket name and file name. Okay, so I will change this code. And DynamoDB table I have to create. I have to create a DynamoDB table. Okay, so DynamoDB service. I give a table name emp2. Okay, so DynamoDB table, create table emp2 partition key, like what is the ID, emp underscore ID. So other things will dynamically, because it's a dynamic schema. Okay, so we don't need to give the column names. Okay, emp2, I inserted, I created a table. Now my code is going to deploy. So now I should trigger this Lambda, or it will be automatically triggered? Because I'm giving hard coded, right? So it will not automatically trigger. So I have to trigger manually. Okay. What is the error is coming? No such file to get operation. So here, no such key. Okay, the file name is not matching. MP details. So what is the file I uploaded? emp details.csv. Go to monitor and check CloudWatch log.
I think in line 9 there is some problem, Arvind. Bucket name, bucket equal to
Name is
bucket.
the bucket name only, na? This is, and this is a file name.
Those files exist in that location?
My folder, this is my folder. So my folder has emp details.csv. Okay. This is only file name.
I think my Lambda, there's a 3 in it, bucket name.
3?
Yeah, there's no 3 in that when I saw that bucket name, if you check. Oh, it's 3 there, okay.
It is same.
0302-2025, okay.
Yeah, it is same. So, okay, we do outside, just do directly once, check it.
Or you can, instead of like writing, you can, is there not a way to get up, copy the path completely instead of writing by itself?
No, we are giving bucket and file. Okay, bucket and file. So sometimes folder we are using, so we can give the folder. Okay. First we check it with the only bucket and file. Okay, now it's simply bucket and file. So bucket and file we are giving. Now this is bucket and file. So
I think we have to give that folder name after that bucket name, I think, not the file name.
bucket name.
Yeah, we have to give the subfolder there and then just file name here, or maybe I'm not sure. It's yeah. Let's try this one.
Yeah, now it's working. It's a different error, authorization error, right? So that is fixed. Okay, even data is red also. See, this is the data. Okay, so data is red, and now we have to add a role. So only role we have to DynamoDB we have to add. So we have to configuration. So DynamoDB full access have to add. Here is DynamoDB is not there. So attach policy, DynamoDB full access, add permission. Yeah. So now I take it. So S3 is already there. S3 we are not doing anything. But DynamoDB full access we have done. Table, right? DynamoDB EMP to table is not authorized to perform. Put item. But why it is saying access denied exception? DynamoDB full access, right? Policy was attached. Okay, this is the same one I'm using. AWS Lambda role 2. My EC2 Lambda trigger. And what is the role? Role is correct. Configuration. So this is the role. AWS Lambda. Okay, I think now it's not authorized to perform. The same error is showing. Table EMP2. So it's the same error. It's coming. Now it's it is not changing. I did EMP1. Okay, so this one is a different error. This is requested resource is not found. So this is accessing now DynamoDB, but it's saying the table is not found. So this now. Make it 2. Yeah, done. So EMP2, if we go now, DynamoDB, already here table. So if I check here the table EMP2, so I will get the data. Here I will be explode table item. So I'm getting the data. Okay. Okay,
And
so
I think the table name is not EMP1, but EMPL is like that.
that's the reason it was saying
That's the reason. Yeah.
resource not found.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll send all these examples. Okay, one API gateway is there. Okay, that I will give example. Okay, in the weekdays. Okay, so this is all right. So far, you can try this all examples one by one and practice the Lambda. Okay, thanks everyone.
Arvindji, I have a question.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm actually using like Amazon, but I'm not using any resources. But I don't know why I'm getting the bills from Amazon. Can you check? See, do you have time for a minute?
Okay, I'll check it separately. Okay,
Okay.
okay. Mm.
So shall I
I'll
call
connect
you?
you. I'll connect
Yeah.
you after this meeting. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
अरविंद सर मैं आपको कॉल करूं क्या या 1 मिनट के लिए
हाँ मैं करता हूँ बात करता हूँ।
ठीक